Hello everyone, hope you're all doing well. This week's chapters were all actually very good, which is fresh to see, refreshing. So let's not waste any time and just get right into, the recap. So we're going to start with My Hero Academia, which overall was a fun chapter. The chapter begins with the news telling how bleak everything is, which is funny to see. They're always so quick to make everything seem worse than it is, though this time they might actually be right. Shigaraki then proceeds to tell all the villains to kill everyone. Yes, as Endeavor, the Dragon Lady, continued to fight Shigaraki. Manuel, which was Ida's hero mentor, helps Eraser keep his eyes open to block out Shigaraki. As their fight continues, it shows that now Shigaraki's actually really strong, All Might strong, which is pretty great. Fight continues, but it looks like Eraser's injured. What was the old man's name? I do not remember that either. Yes, Gran Torino gets the Bakugo and Deku away, only to reveal that they had a plan from the beginning, or at least from when Shigaraki started to move, to keep them away from everyone else and collide on him, though I don't think that works out all that well, as Shigaraki had plans and brought the Nomu back. Isn't that lovely? The reactions are great. Shigaraki is a troll, which is even better, as he stands on Endeavor and the Dragon Lady, sticking his fist in the air, just like Endeavor did. Yes, Shigaraki saved the Nomu so that they can fight for him, and in his own head proclaims to be the Villain King, which is a great title. The Nomu start attacking, going after everyone. Gran Torino goes back into the fray, only to have Shigaraki go after Eraser, which is funny, and he starts proclaiming how he has to survive in the whole 9 yards. My bold prediction is he's the one that ends up dead by the end of the arc, as Deku and Baku come in for the save of Aizawa. So, overall, a good chapter, fun. I am still afraid that the story might end with this arc, which would be dreadful, and I'm not sure. I'm hoping not, but overall, I'd give it a solid B. The next one will be Jujutsu Kaisen. This chapter is actually very good, mostly because Sukuna actually shows up and changes the story immensely. His sheer presence gives a sense of danger to the story, which it kind of needed. It gripped me back into the story. So it begins with Jugo, the volcano-headed guy, curse, feeding Itadori Sukuna's fingers so that Sukuna would come out. And I was surprised that Jugo actually hit the two girls last week. I didn't think he did. So they ended up living, which, worked. It makes sense. And apparently he got hurt, now that I'm actually looking at it again. By the two girls who had their power. But it all stops when Sukuna wakes up. And that's when the whole chapter changes, and it's great. He shows off his power, and everyone's afraid just by his subtle movement of getting up. He walks over, asks why they're still standing, and the two girls have the right idea, as they practically fall to the ground. Jugo not so much, and he got his volcano head, the top of his volcano, cut off. He bleeds. And then Sukuna asks the two girls what they want, and they ask him to free Geto, the guy with the scar on his forehead, which isn't Geto. Slight flashback on why those two girls know Geto and seeing Geto. And I had thought he was spared in this moment, but no, they clarify he was dead, and that's why they want the brain curse that took over Geto's body to be killed, because he took over the Geto who is dead. They ask, and Sukuna is downright offended, which I knew was going to happen. Killed one of them, and then killed the other one when she attacked. Jugo then tells what the curses planned on doing, or planned on telling Sukuna to do. However, Sukuna had plans to begin with. He is playing 4D chess instead of checkers. So, it'll be absolutely it makes next week a must-read, which I'm actually very much looking forward to, as now Sukuna plans to kill every human in Shibuya, which it'll be fun to read next week. It was a very good chapter. This was an A. This was very engaging and very fun. Now is on to We Never Learn. This chapter was good. It actually did what I wanted, which was to push it into hopefully more of the college years. as it time skips forward to their exams, which again they pass. They skip over most of that, which was good. So they then talk on the stairs, more or less, talking to each other. Furuhoshi ends up still milking that ankle injury, which not surprising. Then I jokingly said, because in that same panel you see she's still hurt, his job, but then ends up inspiring her, I guess. Gives her words of encouragement that they weren't necessarily over per se as friends and so on. Then they go back and forth. It's all very cute and lovey-dovey, as this arc is about for Hoshi. And we learn a little bit about Naruyuki's dad, which was funny, as we see he is a pure, just going around and uplifting delinquents and then inviting them over for dinner. And it's beautiful. Yes, then after hearing that and Noriyuki's insecurity, Furuhoshi more or less confesses, but in terms of that Noriyuki's great and shouldn't compare himself. They're then walking home, and Furuhoshi looks like she might be gonna make a move, only to be completely denied and blocked by... Damn it, I don't know her name. She's denied, and Orica shows up to do her confession, which Furuhoshi more or less runs away and revealed that she isn't actually hurt to Noriyuki. She only gets behind a wall, which is still close by, to eavesdrop, and then she does hear the confession, and now she thinks it's punishment. So, overall, a good chapter. I did enjoy it. Hopefully it continues, maybe a little bit of a time skip where it goes ahead instead of it just ending here, and we get some more drama and so on, but overall I actually did enjoy this week, which is fun, which is good. Now we are on Undead Unlock, which was yet again another fun chapter as this story continues to drive forward, which is good. It's starting to move, which I really do like, and hopefully it has some good legs to it. So it starts on the title page where you see how much their outfits to go into the Mafia's sort of cruise ship den, which was funny to see. So they enter the cruise ship, they see what it is. Andy warns Fuko that this is not a good place for anyone. We overhear a couple of Mafia people in the background talking about their less than savory attitudes on sort of the other creatures in the world, which again, Andy tries to protect Fuko from, which again was fairly cute with them. Also, we learn that because the Negators don't have the effects of Apocalypse, everyone else is speaking one language, but Fuko can't, so her and Shen have to wear something for a translator. That's why she has a little bow tie around her neck so she can speak. Otherwise, she'd be speaking Japanese and no one would understand her. We then get some backstory as they eat, and we figure that Andy finally does fully joins the council, or the community, whatever it was called, where he is fully on board now, which was fun to see, where Fuko's still somewhat on the fence, and the Union, that's what it was. He fully joins the Union, where Fuko's still someone on the fence. And then we get to see the new, more or less, main villain of the group, outside of just Apocalypse. These Negator hunters, who show up and more or less murder the two guards right in the front, and start to infiltrate, because they want to get the Negator that's on the slave market sale in this Mafia boat. So with their arrival, it changes everything, as Titania more or less is eavesdropping on them, and then warns Fuko and Andy about it. As they go through, we get some little bit of introduction to them, but not who they are, per se, as the Union seeks to save the world, where they seek to get revenge on it. So then, Fuko then decides then and there that she's more or less joining with the Union, fully on it, and then they decide to just crash the party and go balls to the walls and go, which is kind of funny how espionage was the thing, and then the hunters came in. Now it's just going to be a huge cluster, which is going to make the whole arc a bit more fun as he's just moving quickly, the mangaka. So they burst forth and start fighting fairly well, and Andy and Fuko's power are more or less starting to sink as she's somewhat getting control of how to use it. So next week's will be very fun, and I look forward to it. This was a solid B. Also, I forgot to give We Never Learn a grade, and that was probably a C. So, again, good chapter, but nothing super mind-blowing. Next is Haikyuu, and as per usual, it's an excellent chapter, though my fear is still that it's going to be ending at 400. Oh, well, actually, now seeing this is 399, could end at 400, which I'm hoping it doesn't, but I could see it ending at 400, which I wouldn't be very happy about, but it would still be a great manga. So, chapter begins with Hinata's team scoring off of Hinata's block of Wakatoshi's large spike. Then they score again with Hinata. Everyone's going nuts. But then Wakatashi or the scoring off of his serve. So great as they keep going back and forth. As Hinata's team is up 2 sets to Kageyama's 1. So this is a very big set. Now they're all going all out. Fans are getting excited as each side keeps scoring, going back and forth, having an intense game. And Kageyama is just playing them all. Instead of doing a dump, he does a power tip, which none of them are prepared for. And the back and forth is great as each one really shows off what they can do. Bakuto ends up scoring off of another Hinata block. But then Kageyama does an incredible set to Hoshiumi, who then scores a massive spike to continue to tie the game, leaving it now. It's just very exciting, as now the game is tied going into the end game of this 4th set, which the chapter ends with their usual, practically the whole message of the story, which is they all just want to keep playing volleyball longer, and setting up something big for the next chapter, which again I'm hoping isn't the end of the story, but if it is, it's still very satisfactory. So Haikyuu was again very good, and it was a solid B. Now on to Black Clover, which was an excellent chapter, which just showed off the villain's power to no end, as Noelle actually did stab Vanica and Megaculia in the chest, but it just wasn't enough, which Megaculia compliments Noelle on. But thinking she has the final power hit, she tries to hit her with her Sea Dragon, only for Megaculia to put a complete end to that one, and Noelle runs out of magic. But she does hurt them, which is the fun part, which then Noelle, as she is very much learning from Asta, states her name very proudly to Vinica, who asked what her name was, which then Vinica decides to pull out her evil trick card and decides not to kill Liliprika and decides to take her. Oh, no. Just to really stir up Noelle, which Magnolia absolutely continues to be interested by Vinica's sadism. And then Vinica remembers Noelle's mother, Acer, which now she's egging Noelle on to become very strong because she wants to verse her at her strongest. And apparently, she fought Noelle's mother by taking a little kid hostage, which is interesting. So, so many questions, so many things. Oh, boy. So this arc after their little conversation and Vinica taking Liliprika, which is going to happen, she ends up more or less leaving. But before she leaves, she does just one more thing, just to really nail home how little she cares about everyone. She ends up killing all of her subordinates by having them explode, each and every one of them, as Mimosa was struggling against the long-tongued guy. But each one now, they're all gonna blow up, which is, she's very evil, Vinica. And then she eggs on Noelle some more, saying that she's strong enough to survive as she leaves. And then the Heart Kingdom practically blows up. Then we cut back to the final 2 pages of where Yami is fighting the king. I think he might be Dante, but I could be wrong. Toe to toe. Then he finally has had enough and pulls out all of his power, which Yami is just next week is going to be great. It's going to be great. And, the fights are just ramping up. This arc is getting very good. So, next week is going to be an excellent chapter, as well as next week's is going to be a full week. I think nothing's on break, which is good. And this one showed how each of the Dark Triad are all demons and devils in their own right, and it's great. They all have such unique personalities, so I look forward to next week. This one was a solid. It was, I'm gonna go with an A. It was a very good chapter. But now we go to the best chapter, best. Arguably, I can go with the best manga going on in Shonen Jump right now. We're going to Chainsaw Man, and who boy does this chapter not disappoint at all. Oh, it is an amazing chapter. It starts off with Angel remembering what Makama did, and even she realizes that he remembers, and talking down to Angel. Angel then decides to try to attack Makama, but Makama just is having none of it and shows off her power, not even lifting a finger, and then brainwashes Angel again as if nothing happened. She goes on to say that Japan is full of spies more than any other nation, and so they're still actually hunting the Gun Devil despite her lie to everyone, Power and Deji, I think. So yeah, that was an interesting part, but then it just gets so much better is that when you cut to America, into the White House, as the president decides that if they don't kill Maka, the worst possible peace will descend upon humanity, and decides to just go and sacrifice a year of every American citizen's life span. A year of everyone's life goes to the Gun Devil to kill Makama, who then we find out is the Control Devil. And it's beautiful. She is the literal devil, and then we get to see the Gun Devil's power, which is just insane. Immediately upon just reading what his powers are, it's immediately upon appearance his ability activates, which his ability is to fire a bullet through the head of every adult male within approximately 1,000 meters of the Gun Devil. Confirmed. The ability to fire a bullet through every head of every child within 1,500 meters of the Gun Devil. And then it lists off all the people he killed just showing up in this one spot and showing his appearance and how monstrous he is. It's, wow. That is how you end a chapter. It just, wow. That's all it is. Absolutely amazing chapter. This one is an absolute A+. It is simply great on every level. So, that's all I have for this week. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed my ramblings. Let me know what your take on each chapter is, if you even read these mangas and so on in Shonen Jump. I plan on extending, going into some of the other mangas that are there, maybe even starting some of the newer ones, as I keep reading these newer ones, but they all keep ending, like Guardian of the Witch, which was ended horribly, and Zip Man, which ended really early also. So, if you have any recommendation for any other one, leave it in the comments, and overall, again, thank you for watching.